request you, ma'am, to address the audience.
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, let me thank organizers for having me here. It's a pleasure talking to all of you. While the theme of the session is efficiency and security of cloud, and we definitely will touch, and I'm sure many of my eminent co-panelists are really going to talk a lot about this. But I thought this is the right opportunity for me to tell you a kind of government cloud which is available today, because I felt it was all the more important when I sensed from some of the speakers in the first session they didn't even know that there's a cloud service like this exists. So with this, I just take a few minutes to run you through what it is about, and then we go on to discussing the theme of the session. So under the Meghraj, this is the first cloud. Meghraj must have heard a lot about in the first session with from radio, so there's no need talking about. So under Meghraj initiative, NIC had set up the first cloud, national cloud service for government as a whole. These were a set of objectives which were given to us as a part of our mandate to set up this cloud, and I'm sure all of you must have heard during the previous session, so let's not spend time much deliberating. Infrastructure elasticity and secure cloud services were a couple of things which we really focused on. And from here we move on to a typical project approvals and all. And these were the 5 criteria which we set ourselves while we were trying to draw a larger architecture for the cloud as a whole for the country. And among these things, 2 things which we really focused with an experience which we have of running government data centers for so many years. But 2 things. One is that whatever architecture we work, it has to be generic in design so that we are able to integrate any cloud technology solution available in the market today or in the times to come, including even the open source technologies. Second thing was, it should really make the government a very, very simple to use. Self-service portal will be there. But now with cloud, earlier there has to be a complete system through which you used to go. You have a requirement, you give it to IT team, then there is RFP and all those things. Now maybe initially when you're trying to procure the cloud services, you may have someone to assist you. But having on board, if you really want to leverage on the elasticity of cloud, really want to introduce that cost efficiency, you need to take some calls practically live on the portal, how much resources you want to scale, when do you want to scale down. That means people even the administrative level, people even at the management level are going to interface with this. So therefore this interface has to be very, very simple to use. All those typical jargons of cloud, IaaS, PaaS, all that should be removed from there, and it should be the way they have been asking services from us in the past. So with that concept, we have basically built this portal. And also to make best use of the resources which we have deployed, we have tried to segregate or sort of group our infrastructure in a way that different kind of machines, they are of different redundancy, they've been configured in a way so that they suit to development cluster, staging cluster, production cluster, their network configuration, their security configurations, and at the same time their basic CPU configurations and all to the management cluster have been defined so that it is not only most cost efficient, most resource efficient, it is also simple to use. Like when you go to production cluster, if you want to make anything live, you really need to cross through all those cyber security requirements of the government which has come from certain NIC cyber security. So it's a process. However, if you want to do development, if you want to test your server, you do not need all these restrictions. So those processes have been inbuilt so that when you what kind of resource you are asking, and so corresponding kind of a tool process has been set across so that it becomes the best possible and the most easy thing for you to use. Same is with the storage layer. The way we procure storage, sometimes I really wonder. Every third month I have been told whatever we bought last time, 500 terabytes or 1 terabyte, it's over. It's amazing, but that's fact of life. So we've also tried to see, depending on our 10 years of experience, government using storage, that what kind of different applications they have. And I have to also try to set storage into 3 different categories so that we give. So somebody is only trying to copy log files, so what kind of storage is it? Somebody is only trying to keep a backup thing, or someone is really like to do OLTP kind of an application. So that's how whole thing is configured, and that's the generic design on which it's going to go. Operations wise, very simple. First 4 operations you have to do once in lifetime. The 5th operation is there, which is an address over secure network. Where do you go? And you keep asking for resources, keep scaling up, scaling up. There's a dashboard which you work. First 4 is only one time, because being in government we need to comply to certain procedures of identification of the user and things like that. So that is what has been built into it. This is what our cloud portal looks like. It is available at cloud.gov.in, and this is what, there's a helpline number in case you are not able to, you get stuck somewhere. Though I personally feel it's been made so simple that you should not really. And it's a multi-location cloud as of today, and completely seamless from you. Right now it has 2 nodes. One is in data center at Delhi, and another is in Hyderabad. And very soon we are going to plug 2 more nodes, which is from Pune and Bhubaneswar. So the philosophy is that as long as you do not want, we do not get into a complexity of you asking that whether you want to go to Pune or you want to go to Bhubaneswar. However, if you are informed and alert user and you feel, no, my data has to be in Delhi, so we at the same time give you that flexibility. So choice is yours, depending on the kind of level of services you basically activate your account accordingly. And all these services, all these nodes are available through a common portal. Everybody signs on, whether it's a user or it's an administrator, finally signs on. But as you go, your requirements of authentication keep getting complex depending on what kind of role you have to play on that cloud. To make our offerings very, very simple, we have just kept it simple thing. Do you need a web server? This is how government has been asking us, departments have been asking us. Do you need an application server, development server, basic server, that is typically a EAS kind of setup, or a storage service? You just need some storage so that you could back up your files, or you could just keep a copy of your data, or you want to copy your desktops, whichever way. Or you need software as a service or database as a service. So you just see, and after there are a couple of simple screens which you need to fill few parameters and you're live. As time is passing, our focus is more on software as a service. To begin with, we have 3 services already available. One is GeoEye Search. That means any government application or any government website today wants to do a local custom search to their website, they can simply call for this service and do it. They do not have to go to this Google custom search and all those kind, don't have to get into complexity of doing search. This is a common search platform which can be integrated simply as a service, and already 200 and plus government websites are already using this service. Open Data is a platform, as you know, data-driven governance and data analytics is really going to play a huge role in the next few months or so. So we have developed this Open Data platform, and this is available for the central government. In any case it is done, but any organization or any state government or any district administration, if want to launch their own data platform, they can simply call it as a service. They simply have to log in, fill in few forms, and then also say that what kind of theme and all, and their data platform goes live, and from there, and it's already configured, optimized, and already security tightened. So you don't have to get into any of those complexities. Web Analytics is a service which all of you must be knowing from Google Analytics. So that service we've been running for quite some time, but recently we have moved that also onto cloud because its resource requirement really goes very, very variable. So this cloud we launched sometime in, I think, February 1st week 2014, and as of today we have received requests for availing cloud from over 150 different entities, and what really amazes me that without any publicity, this requests are coming not only from central government departments, they are coming from state government departments, they are municipal corporations, and they are district admins. A couple of panchayat requests also have got. So that shows the kind of interest or enthusiasm people have in using cloud services. And it has been such that we had done a modest beginning because we didn't want to really put in money before we really see how the uptake is. But uptake is so encouraging that we are needed to now upscale our infrastructure in the next 3 months by almost making it 3 times. And as we are going and interacting with the users, we felt that though all this cloud is self-service kind of a thing, but when we work with our departments, we realize that the self-service 100% is not going to work with them. You also, at least for the basic services, you need to introduce managed services also. So this is the kind of services which is on the anvil, which we need to introduce in the next few months. What is where we are going ahead? What we are trying to do is we are now trying to sense it. People are showing enthusiasm. They are coming on the cloud, but when it comes to finally availing, sizing their machines and how to really go it, they fall kind of. It feels there's some kind of a hand holding or some kind of a sensitization is needed. How do you really use it? So that's what we are now doing, one-to-one sessions if there's an organization, or we also do, we have now started this month doing workshops and seminars across various states to familiarize them with these things. Enable department, because this is now a paradigm shift in the which they used to procure. They are so used to buying those servers and softwares. Now suddenly you are buying this thing where on the day one you do, okay, I need X resource, but during the year I may go to access 2. So how do they really educate their finance department? How do they put up their files and proposals? So these kind of, how do we so we're trying to, department is actually helping us with policies and kind of administrative provisions through these things can be, actually it's happening, but it's taking some time because everywhere this learning is happening. So how do we really leapfrog this part? That's where we're really working with the department and trying to see that if we could get some enablements in provision. And what we're trying to now do is, because we've been running data center services for over maybe 15 years now. So to encourage people, we are now telling our colleagues in NIC as well as otherwise that today if you develop any application, please develop an application which is cloud enabled. But if you do not enable an application which is cloud enabled, which has the characteristics to be able to scale up and scale down, you will not be able to make any sense out of it. You will be just using cloud as a fashion word, nothing more than that. So you need to start getting into applications. Also motivating some of the very old applications, but continue to be very relevant, that to convert them, trying to work out where we can even handhold them to some extent, helping them that what does it mean when I'm saying a cloud enabled application. And so that's another thing which we're trying to do. So we had begun with certain objectives, but as we have moved, to me it looks, what is this cloud going to give? It's basically going to give us two things as an outcome, as we see in all the reports. One is it will enable government departments to focus on their core competence, which is developing, implementing, rolling out e-governance applications or citizen services. They need not really worry about procurement of infrastructure, scaling out, or even management of infrastructure. And this is in turn also going to help them experiment new models, because they have to just have an application, or if an application change its mode of service delivery, and you can experiment. You can take resources for 3 months, run it. If you find it's not working well, go on to the next model. And this is going to give a rise to a lot of innovation in the way people have been delivering, government has been delivering, because your time to go live and time to come back from that model is not those 5 years servers we have bought, now we have to be there with them. So this is we're going to see a lot of innovation also in the times to come. That's all. This is my team, because this is a team work and which has really worked for over a year, I should say 14 months. This team has worked hard to make this cloud and continues to be equally enthusiastic. Thank you.